The Exquisite Corpse is a drawing exercise and a creativity exercise where you create a drawing with 3 other people. The first step is to fold your paper into thirds. When you're folding your paper into thirds, do the best you can to keep them as even as possible. They do not have to be perfect. I like to double crease all of the folds just to make sure that they're even and that you can tell where they are. You should have a top section, a middle section, and a bottom section of your paper. You'll begin this process by only drawing in the top section of your paper. Now, some people like to fold it so they can only see the top section. That's totally fine. Some people leave the paper completely open and just remember that they can only draw in the top section at first. When you're drawing in this first section, you're going to try to keep your drawing kind of secret from your neighbors. The goal is to draw the head, the neck, and the shoulders of a person, animal, creature, robot. It can be anything you can think of, but it should include the head, neck, and shoulders. When you finish your drawing, you'll fold back the first section of your paper so that way the drawing that you've created isn't visible to the next artist in line, so it'll be the person next to you. When you fold back this drawing, you have to make sure to make small marks where you left off the shoulders so the next artist knows where to start their section of the drawing. The next artist, after you pass your paper to the right, will be drawing the torso of whatever creature, animal, person that they choose to do. So when you're doing the torso, you generally should include the shoulders to about the hips and any arms, wings, tentacles, anything like that that you want to include. When that artist is finished, they're going to draw small lines onto the last section of the paper, fold their piece to the back, and the remaining artist, once they pass the paper, will draw the feet and the legs. When everything is completed, you can pass it back to the original artist and open it up to see what it ended up looking like. Each section should take about 10 to 15 minutes, so as you're starting your drawing, be as creative as possible and take your time to actually make an interesting, unique drawing. Now, it doesn't have to be super realistic, it could be very cartoon-like, but when you're drawing that first section, do the best you can to use up a little bit of the page. Don't make your head, neck, and shoulders really tiny, and try to add some details to your drawing. You don't want it to just be a simple outline. That won't make the final result very interesting at all. The more details you can add in during the 10 to 15 minutes of drawing, the more interesting the final drawing will end up looking. I'd suggest using a pencil, so that way if you need to erase anything or if something doesn't turn out how you'd like it, it's easier to erase and start over as opposed to a pen or a marker. It also helps the finished drawing look more cohesive, like it actually goes together. If you have extra time in your 10 to 15 minutes of drawing, try adding some shading and some texture. So instead of just using outlines, try to fill in some of the space with your pencil. If you don't have time to completely finish your section of the drawing before it's time to switch, that's totally fine, but you shouldn't end up just sitting there and waiting for the time to switch. You do want to continue to fill up the time, add shading, add texture, add details, until the time is up and you're ready to pass it to the right to the next artist. As you finish up your drawing, you're going to make sure that there are little marks heading into the next section, so section 2. So when you do pass your drawing to the right, the person next to you will know where to start the torso of the Exquisite Corpse.